Okay, day after first scrimmage, Shannon Connell's with us. We talked to Justice Walker last night, get a chance to talk to the seniors here before they blast off for Wisconsin Green Bay next week. And Shannon, I was kind of thinking about stuff last night and watching you play. D- does it even seem like it should be your senior year? Because I just remember being told when you were in high school, yeah, we've got this setter at Lovejoy. You should go watch her if you think. I mean, has it gone by fast or has it gone by slow to you?
Extremely fast. I mean, it feels like just yesterday I was moving in to live with Janet and Jill for summer school, and it's insane that our new freshmen are coming in and I'm about to leave. Like, it has flown by so fast.
Now let me try and get the history right. I know at one point a former assistant we had here, Erin McClanahan, was at Lovejoy. Was she there when you were there, or part of the recruiting?
Yeah. She came my sophomore year, which was my first year on varsity, so I had her for sophomore, junior, and senior year. And thankfully, she left the year after I left, but she was amazing, and it was really cool having her be here before. So she kind of prepared for me for a lot of things here, and her and LLA are good friends, so I knew a lot coming in.
Yeah, I think that fits the piece of the puzzle to me. She must have been the one that first clued me in to your recruit. What's been the number one thing you think that has changed about your play, or just how you handle yourself from freshman year to senior year? What's been the biggest change in Shannon Connell, volleyball player?
I think my confidence, obviously coming in freshman year, everybody's really nervous and really scared to play, and it's a whole new world, and everything's faster, and the girls are bigger, and everyone's really, really good. And so I think now that I'm a senior, I have more confidence in myself and know that I am a great volleyball player, and I deserve to be on this team and deserve to be just as good as anyone in this conference.
Are you somebody that once the season gets rolling, especially once we get to conference play, are you somebody who kind of keeps track with what the other teams are doing, or are you kind of a tunnel vision type person? Do you look at the stats for the other teams or the setters, or is that just not something you care much about?
I'm a little bit of both. I mean, like surface level stuff, just like general, like how they're doing, but I don't go too much into it because I'm more worried about our team, and I believe that our team could beat any other team on the net any day.
Um, it seems like to me, and that when teams aren't going well, setters always take the fall. It's like setters always take the fall. I mean, I've noticed this for years. Setters always take the fall. And then when the teams are going well, setters don't get enough credit. you know, I mean, how have you kind of learned? I mean, you were nodding your head when I was saying that. How have you kind of learned to handle that's just kind of the stigma of being the quarterback?
It's kind of become like a running joke. Like it's like, oh, this could be happening on this court over here. It's Shannon's fault or it's Brewer's fault. Like it's literally always our fault, and it's just kind of a joke now. And like, LA was a setter here too, so like she thinks it. I mean, she gets it, so it's just kind of like a joke now, and it's. I mean, you just kind of laugh it off, and you're fine.
Have you had any time the last couple of weeks in the busy schedule to watch any of the Olympics beach stuff?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, then take us through this, because somebody asked me this just a couple days ago, and I'm like, I'm going to talk to somebody who knows a whole lot more about setting than I do, and I'll ask her this. What I got asked was, on the beach, almost everything's a bump set. I mean, they hardly ever go above their heads, but of course, on indoor, occasionally you have to play balls, on a bump set. But take us through why that's true. Why on the beach are there just almost by default the girls are bump setting, whereas on indoor you have a lot more stuff over your head.
I mean, I'm not a huge beach player, so I don't know a ton about it, but that kind of confused me when I would play a little bit. Like, they'd be like, no, you're not really supposed to set, and if you do, it's more of like you kind of carry. I think beach is just so much more controlled and so much more like up and down kind of stuff like that. And there's only two players, so you're not trying to run quick offenses and stuff like that. So it's just more controlled, and there's kind of no need for it.
Pretty much only got one option on on who to set it to. Yeah. And I mean, some people don't realize, right? I mean, the actual construction of the ball is different. I mean, beach volleyballs, indoor volleyballs aren't the same. Um, when I watch matches, especially when I'm, I mean, rarely am I watching a match that y'all are playing in where I don't have some responsibility in terms of calling it or radio or something. But I find myself being real tough on setters for ball handling errors and doubles. But then when I stop and think about it, I'm like, I, if I was a ref, I think I'd be really loose on it. I mean, do you think that? I mean, do you think that in general that that rule ought to be loosened a little bit? Do you think that it's called about right? Do you think it's called too tight?
Different refs call it different ways. There's some refs that are very strict about it, and some refs that it's just like unless it was absolutely mangled, it's fine. And especially if you're making an athletic play, they're kind of loose about it. But I mean, it's just part of the game. But like a passer shanks a ball or a hitter sends one out of bounds, like that's our error. But it just looks 10 times worse than everybody else's. So that's why I think they're so strict about it.
Don't you think there are times, though, when you get a particular pass, or usually off of an in-rally dig, where you've got a tremendous amount of spin coming at you, that it's more difficult then to sort of square the set up and make it float, and that should be called looser than, I mean, I don't know. Sometimes when I think about it, I think, I don't even know why we have the double rule in there at all.
It's harder when it's really, really high, like a really high dig, and when it spins. Those, like, personally, when you're getting a dig, that's obviously exactly what you want to do. But if it's, like, the higher, kind of the harder it is, unless you're running to go get it because you're kind of just sitting there. So, yes, that's what we want us to do, but also that's the hardest way to set the ball.
You mentioned earlier sort of relationships that you had with former players, and that's something I've noticed the whole time you've been here, is that you have had, I think, a very strong relationship with some of the girls that have now gone out the door. Describe that. Describe who those people are and kind of how they've kind of cemented your place here at SFA.
I was super close with Leslie Jackson, Jill Ivy, Janet Hill. I mean, everyone really before that, but those were kind of the three that I connected with the most. I think it's super important just because I think this is a family, whether you're here or you're gone. And I think it's so important to keep those relationships, and coming back for alumni weekend, and even here, like, we had alumni weekend my freshman year, and I got to meet even the older players, like some of LA's friends, and just like having that connection with everyone, that we all got to play under Debbie, and we all have to share the same stories and have that connection. I think that's really important.
That's something neat too that I've seen with other players and staff such as myself. It's just so neat to see those players come back. You know, when you do form a relationship with them and then kind of keep track with them after graduation. Now, you mentioned Les and Janet and some others there for a while, and I have to exclude Jill from this question, but am I right? Y'all kind of had some sort of social thing. Was it? I kept seeing a hashtag Blontourage. Am I saying that right? What's the genesis of that? Les talked. I saw that one time with Les. I'm like, I'm going to ask somebody about that.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer that if you don't want.
I don't really. I mean, that started my freshman year. A couple of us went to Colorado with a big group of people, and we were just like I guess we were blonde, and we were like the Blontourage instead of the entourage. I really don't know. I think Leslie says interesting things sometimes, and I think she said it, and it just stuck, and we kind of hashtagged it with some of our pictures. But
yeah, I remember talking to Les about that last year. So those are the girls that have played in front of you, but now as a senior, sort of a different leadership role. What have you sort of made a conscious effort with these newbies? And there is a freshman setter in the house. She's walking by right now. Actually, that was weird. I didn't even, just first time I've referred to Ann in this interview, and she walks out. What sort of things have you thought consciously about how mentoring's got to be a big part with all these new players?
Yeah, it's weird, again, thinking that I was a freshman not too long ago, and now I'm a senior, and now, like, people are looking up to me, and it's kind of like, oh, shoot, like, I don't look to anyone, like, everyone's looking to me, so it's exciting, but it's weird at the same time. But I really love being, like, especially as a setter, like, you have the responsibility, and you kind of prepare them for, like, how things are going to go, and, like, don't freak out if this happens, and, like, don't take this personally. And I think that was something that Paige did with me that I think was really important, was kind of prepare me to be a setter here, because setter in high school and setter in college is completely different. And I like it.
Let's talk for a minute about the Rents. Your parents, they're here. Your mom especially. I'm sort of thinking back on the fly when we have tournaments here. She's often involved in helping bring food and set up, or on cookouts, and we'll have kind of socials out there. Your mom seems to always be somebody who's so generous with coming in and aiding on. Has she always been that through high school years and club years? She always been kind of like that?
Oh, yeah. She was always, whether it wasn't soccer, anything, team mom, doing the snacks, coordinating. She's very organized. She's very, like, she's not controlling, but she wants to be, you know, like she likes things to go a certain way, and I mean it seems to work, so she keeps coming back, and sometimes she'll be like, "Ugh, I have to do it," but I know she like deep down really loves doing it.
One moment I want to ask you about, you may remember this. This really made an impact on me, especially after it was a loss. When we were all at UCA for the tournament last year, and first round loss to HBU, we were the team. You guys had gone out to eat, and I'd kind of stayed back for the other match. But at late at night, we all were kind of back in the hotel lobby, and your dad was sitting down there. Some of the players were down there, and at one point, as people were milling around, you actually went over and you sat in your dad's lap, and you and your dad were just kind of having a moment, just talking to each other. And I just thought to myself, so that just is really cool. You know, I have a young daughter. You probably saw her in here last night. I'm like, that's cool that, you know, Shannon feels, you know, that kind of connection to her dad. And of course, your dad's ever present here too. Just talk about sort of your relationship to him.
I mean, I'm his firstborn, and I think he was kind of hoping I was the boy. Came out a girl, unfortunately. So I was kind of like a tomboy growing up. So I played basketball, and he was my coach, and I was kind of like his son he never got to have, and I'm kind of daddy's little girl, and it's always going to be like that. And I mean, I'm never embarrassed to sit on his lap in public. I still feel like I mean, even at home, we like snuggle in the chair together, and like, I mean, it's kind of weird, but I mean, it's just, we'll always have a connection.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, especially, you know, given the circumstances in the day. I think he's pretty proud of you. Okay, so to wrap this up, lightning round. Same questions to Justice. I want to see, you weren't here for the Justice, so I want to see if you give me the same answers. So this is just quick answer stuff. Favorite thing for you to do off the court, it has nothing to do with volleyball.
I love watching movies.
Interested in sports other than volleyball, and if what's your favorite sport other than volleyball?
Football, I guess. Yeah.
Favorite pig out food?
Pizza. Love pizza.
Around the Southland Conference, favorite other gym to go to play in? I really love our gym. We have the best gym.
I know, we have the best gym.
But is like there a place where you feel like, yeah, I like the lighting in here, or I can play better in here?
UCA's was pretty normal. Other places have interesting, but UCA's was all right, both their big arena and their small gym.
Yeah, UCA is similar to us, and they have that kind of small, tight feel. Okay, most humorous or cut up person on the team?
Probably Brewer.
Everybody says Brewer. Everybody says Brewer.
She's interesting. I love it.
Okay, most serious person on the team?
Probably right now I'd say Anne. She's a little quiet, but like she's starting. I see her breaking out of her shell a little bit and giving some funny faces and little side comments. But I guess she'd be the most serious. But none of us are. I don't think any of us are serious.
Here, Justice said herself. I mean, is Justice really that serious?
No.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
No, I don't know. Maybe she thinks she's being serious and we think she's being funny. I mean, I think she's hilarious. Like everything she does is.
Yeah, I was surprised. That she said that.
No, that's completely wrong. She's wrong.
Okay, most talkative, loudmouth, cannot shut up on the team.
Corinne is so loud. Yeah, she and her. I guess it's just because her voice just carries. I don't think she means to be like super loud, and she's not obnoxious at all. But like you always hear her on the court, and you can hear her voice from forever away, and like her voice is very distinctive, and so I think Corinne is probably the loudest.
And then teammate most likely to be a coach once they graduate?
Justice, probably. That, I mean, just because she keeps talking about it, and we're at that stage where we're trying to figure out what we're going to do after this, but she just wants to coach and teach and coach club, and I mean, she really enjoys it, and watching her coach at camps and stuff, I think that would be her.
Cool. Well, you realize, I mean, the gym's empty now, about to get setters out on the floor for practice and then scrimmage again tomorrow, but you know you'll probably be in match mode 1 week from today, right now. So good luck to Shannon Connell and all of the Jacks. They'll be up in Wisconsin next week, but then we'll be over at Texas State, do the first radio of the year. Thanks for sitting down and chatting, Shannon.
Thank you.